This is the 2022 Tesla Model 3. This is the rear-wheel drive model and the subject of the newest file page here on the MoneyShift YouTube channel. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. MoneyShift takes vehicles past the one-take review. We do roughly 10,000 miles on these cars, documenting the process, problems, and good things along the way. Now, this 2022 Tesla Model 3 is the rear-wheel drive model, and it is in this black. Because it's the rear-wheel drive, we have an LFP battery with 267 miles of range, and that single motor is giving you a 0 to 60 time of 5.8 seconds. Now, because this is an electric vehicle, you do have an expansive trunk with more room underneath, and because it is a Tesla, you have a minimalist interior that we all know all too well. Now, for 2022, they did make some changes, extending that wood onto the door card, upping some of the materials, adjusting the center console, and giving you two wireless chargers. But if we move to the door card, you see they also gave us some double pane front windows in hopes to keep some of that noise out and keeping all the conversation and quiet in. But we'll see if they actually work in a later video. Now we take it to the rear of this Tesla Model 3. You do have ample space, and thanks to that full glass roof and full glass around you, it does feel remarkably open. I will say the angle of that seat cushion, though, makes this ride a little uncomfortable on longer journeys, but short rides, it's just fine. One of the big pluses of the Tesla Model 3 is how big this frunk is. That paper towel is there for size, but this Tesla Model 3 has one of the largest frunks you can buy. But enough about the frunk, let's get behind the wheel of the Tesla Model 3. Now, one of the first things you'll notice is that this thing is rear-wheel drive, right? You do not have that all-wheel torque that a performance or a long range will get you, but because this is an electric vehicle, you have all that torque instantly, which means that this car still feels remarkably peppy around town. Now, one of the things Tesla has done with their Model 3 and Model Y is give it a smaller steering wheel than a conventional vehicle. And while it feels good in the hands, because it's smaller, it makes this car artificially feel like it is a better turning vehicle than it actually is. Now, that tech in the center screen is super helpful. I love that blind spot monitoring system that shows up in lieu of not having a sort of alert or light appear in the mirrors. Now, as we go left out of this stop sign, we're going to give this thing the beans in the wet so you guys can see what this rear-wheel drive Model 3 can do. Spinning tire a little bit there, you saw the traction control, and again, even though this thing does 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds, it is still plenty fast. For $46,990, you'd be hard-pressed to find a vehicle in this segment that does more than the Tesla Model 3 does. And I'm not just talking about electric. I'm talking internal combustion engine as well. Whether that's the fine folks at BMW, Mercedes, or Genesis, or on the electric side, the fine folks at Polestar, or any of the Hyundai products, for under $50,000, this Tesla Model 3 really does pack oodles and oodles and oodles of features. Let's get into them super quickly. One of the first things that I love about this Tesla Model 3, as we set a charger so that the battery preheats and we can optimally rip as fast as possible because that battery is at the right temperature, is the autopilot system. Now, what this is not is something that drives on its own, but what it is one of the best, if not the best, lane keep radar cruise combinations in the segment. Double tap that right stock and increase or decrease the speed using that right scroll wheel, and you have a system that does a great job at keeping the car in the lane and keeping you at a good distance from the vehicle in front naturally. It's not jarring when it accelerates. It's not jarring when it decelerates. When it works really well. Now, we'll talk about why I say that in a later episode, but the autopilot feature, which is a lane keep and radar cruise combined, does work remarkably well. Again, I'm remaining attentive, but I'm letting the car do the driving here, and it is doing a good job. Now, another feature that I absolutely love with the Model 3 is a lot of the features that it has in the interior standard. You're talking about a heated driver and passenger seat, but also heated seats in the rear, including the middle section of the seat, which is pretty impressive. Not a lot of vehicles do that. In addition to all of that, you also get a heated steering wheel, standard. You get 2 wireless charging pads, standard. You get dual zone climate, standard, right? All of these features, okay, are features that not a lot of other cars have in this segment, in this price bracket. Not at all. And I'm not talking about, you know, just the Polestar 2 here. I'm talking about cars like the BMW 3 Series, the Genesis GV70, okay? All those different cars, the Tesla Model 3 does come at or better equipped, and that is pretty impressive for the fine folks at Tesla. Now, again, all of you have seen this vehicle for years now, so you know that there's no infotainment in front of you. But that infotainment system to your right that holds not only the speed, not only the map, not only the visualization of the full self-drive, but all of the features of the vehicle works remarkably well. Do I wish there were HVAC buttons? Yes, HVAC buttons make life so much easier, being able to adjust on the fly without looking or without having to double press or anything like that. But the Tesla infotainment system works remarkably well, remarkably snappy, and over the 3,000 miles that I've already put on this vehicle, I have not had one crash with this infotainment system versus my Polestar, where I had already had 4 or 5. These are not built the same. The UI UX in this Tesla system is just world class, but that isn't even the best feature. We all know it. You guys have been telling me about it in the shorts for the better part of 2 months now. You buy a Tesla partly because of the charging network, and the charging network in this car is just supreme. Now, I'm pulling up to this station for the first time. This location has Electrify America, EVgo, and Tesla superchargers, so let's see what my experience would be like if I was in a non-Tesla vehicle like my Polestar 2. Turning into the charger, I realized quickly that all the stalls are taken. That gorgeous Volvo C40 is taking stall 1, that i4 is taking stall 2, not even charging, and then stall 3 is broken. So if I had an EV that was not a Tesla product, I would be left out to dry. I would be stuck. I would be freaking out as to where to go, or I would be waiting in hopes that one of those guys pulled away sooner rather than later so that I would have access to a space. Now, that differs completely to the Tesla experience, okay? These chargers recently got set up here at this station. They are brand new. They are 250 kilowatt capable chargers, and there is a metric F ton of them, for lack of a better word. And because of that, even though more Teslas are on the road than any other EV combined, as the car freaks out a bit over that pedestrian, even though he was a little far right, I wasn't going to hit him, Model 3. Take it easy, okay? So even though there are more electric Teslas on the road than any other EV combined, you get this, and this is a common occurrence at non-California Tesla stations. Shout out to that yellow EV6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chargers here, with 4 or 5 of them being taken, and that makes it amazing.
Open butthole.
Say those words and that charger opens right up for some classic Tesla corniness, and it's just that easy. Open up the door, walk up to the station, your door's already open for you, you grab the charger, which is small, light, and nimble in comparison to Electrify America or DC Fast Charger, you plug it in, and that's it. She's done, she's ready to go, she's charging. Take it out when you're ready. It's that easy, and that is one of the nicest things about owning a Tesla vehicle. It just makes the electric ownership process that simple, because once you're done, you just unplug, plug it back into the station, the door auto closes, you get in, and you go about your day. It's just that easy when you own this car, and it really makes having a charger at home not necessary because of how easy it is. So what are my final first thoughts on my introduction to the Model 3 to the channel? Well, for one, I think the rear-wheel drive Model 3 is one of the better looking and better deals in the electric vehicle, or just flat out segment, okay? I would look at a rear-wheel drive Model 3 over a base 3 Series, over a 2-liter Genesis, over a TLX, over a lot of these cars. I think the shape looks great. I love the black trim, especially with this black paint. I love the wheel covers. I love the full glass roof. I think the overall style, the look and feel of this car is very premium, and it still gives off that vibe in a crowd. This car could be parked next to a BMW, and folks will still look at this car as the more premium offering. And because it's an electric vehicle, you got tons of space everywhere, regardless of what you're hauling. This thing truly is just a breeze to own. It's just so damn easy. I can't stress that enough. Get past these funky door handles. You got tons of space on the inside. You can easily haul 4 or 5 people thanks to that flat floor. You can do Uber, you can do Lyft with this, no problem. Folks will be a little comfy, even though the angle of that bottom piece is not ideal for longer trips. In the front, you got plenty of room. This thing is great for 2 people. We've done a road trip in this already of over 1,000 miles, and we did it no problem. I'll see you guys in the next one.